At White Horse Farm, and Rascal and Punky are out grazing in the pasture. May 12th, 1998. Paloma is the mama of a new baby filly named Baltasara, born on May 3rd at 2:05 a.m. And this is one of Baltasara's, well, this is Baltasara's first sunny day. Paloma's a wonderful mother, very proud, very beautiful. And relieved to have her pregnancy over. Punky is fascinated with the baby and likes to come for a visit. Baltasara was born with long legs with good bone and a pretty face like her mama. Punky's in love with Baltasara and just can't see enough of her. He escapes from the pasture and comes out here behind the manure pile just so he can be with Baltasara. I'm hoping that Punky will be her companion during the weaning period. It's a lovely day, and I hope that Baltasara comes out to play. She's just resting now in the sun. Paloma's a fairly protective mother, but doesn't seem to mind having me around. It's other horses and too many guests that make her a little bit upset. Punky's a little annoyed because Baltasar won't come out to play. Paloma just likes to rest in the sun after 10 days of cold rain. So this is Baltasar's first sunny day. Well, the horses aren't doing so much, so I'll take a picture of my dogwood tree. We had lovely apple blossoms this year. Lilacs are out. We have a few flowers in my wildflower garden. The daffodils I brought from New Hampshire. We'll have lots of lupin this year. Lots of violets. Rascal decided to go roll in the mud. One of his favorite activities. In my front garden, the tulips are out. Not much else. This is really a June to October garden. In June, all that lavender will be blooming. My vegetable garden is half planted. Lots of carrots and peas, some beets and spinach. Things are just beginning to emerge. I'm going to have 8 rows of corn this year. It's a great relief to have that rain over with. We were all getting in a grumpy mood. Helped the grass to grow, though. Well, Posadas had many visitors this last week, and I think all the socializing has just exhausted her. We should let her rest in peace. Seems to like to sunbathe like Uncle Rascal. Well, Posada tries to graze, but it's hard when her legs are so long and her neck's still so short. Her teeth are coming in. Going through this whole pregnancy with Paloma has made me very aware of just how beautiful she really is. Who's that girl? Well, I'm very curious about everything. I think Rascal thinks it's his baby. Paloma misses Rascal, but as soon as the summer's over, she'll be back with him all fall and winter. And Punky will become Baltasara's pasture mate. We'll build him a creep so he can get away from the little creep. Baltasara is 2 weeks old, and this is her first time out to pasture with her mother. She's been running around the paddocks for 2 weeks now, and we're letting her out to get some real grass with her mother in the big pasture. She's watching Rascal. So, Rascal, what do you think about this? We put the fillies out in the pasture. You're all in the barn with Punky. It's good for the fillies. They get some good grass. You can take a rest and watch them. Two weeks old, and she's getting the drift of, or the gist rather, of how to graze and eat grain and act like a big horse. Still, her legs are awfully long and her neck is still a bit short, but she manages somehow. Good for Paloma to be finally out eating some good grass. Grass in the paddock's getting a little bit thin. Oh well, she keeps disappearing behind the barn there. Well, Posada's got a thing about Uncle Rascal. She thinks he's awfully handsome, but she's a little afraid of him, I think. Paloma's happy to be out. And 2 weeks into the birth of Baltasara, she's much more relaxed about giving her a little bit of independence. She's curious about everything new. And seeks the warmth and security and nourishment of mother. May 17th, 1998. Baltasara, 2 weeks old. Paloma has just seen a coyote at the bottom of the field. And she's keeping her baby close by her. They were just taking a nap in the sun. She woke right up when she saw that coyote. She's a good mama. A little later on in the same afternoon, Sunday, May 17th. Paloma and Baltasar have been out to pasture for a couple of hours, giving Baltasar a chance to explore the wide open space, get some exercise, and giving Paloma a chance to eat some grass. That baby sometimes disappears. Baltasar! Guess we're gonna have to get Baltasar a fly mask. We've got a weanling fly mask, but I think it's too big for her little head. November 12th, 1998, and Rascal's about to take a pee. He's out to pasture with his herd. Paloma. And our big girl Baltasara with her buddy Punky. Hi, Rascal. You're curious, aren't you? What are we doing in your pasture? And here come the other curious horses. Hi, Baldy. Hi, Punky. You doing, sweetheart? There's our Baltasara, big 6-month-old weanling. Little over 13 hands, 441 pounds. With her proud human daddy. She's grown like a weed, and she's been a very easy filly. Sweet temperament, very gentle, people friendly. And there's our little Cariñosa with her big sister Balti. What do you think, Cuddy? There, we got 3 of the herd together. Very peaceful November morning. They've been out 3 times together now, and first time they ran around a bit with their tails flying in the wind. But now they're just settling into regular old herd behavior. Of course, Punky thinks he's the stud. Rascal thinks he's the stud. And Paloma thinks they're just all very silly. Punky's jealous because he doesn't want Rascal around his girl. Donald, you're right in our way, sweetheart. Of course, he thinks he's the stud. Donald and I did a lot of clearing of our woods this early fall. This is the old pine grove that's been all cleaned up. And there's the farm from the corner of the woods. Paloma's bounced back from her pregnancy excellently. I'm riding her. She's turning into a real proper pleasure horse. She's really calmed down since the birth of her baby. Seems to like it here at White Horse Farm. Our little pond in the woods. Picture of a man and his dog. Pickety! Cuddy's a pretty classic English Springer Spaniel. Hi, Don. So what are your plans for the pond, Don?
I'm gonna clean it up, make it look nice.
The grass is coming nicely on our woodland trails.
A man and a dog.
Cuddy. Cariñosa. What a good girl you are. We're really enjoying our trails in the woods. The name of this trail is Paloma's Parade. And directly to the right, we have Paloma's Pasture. That hill up there is called Chloe's Knoll. Here's a better shot of Chloe's Knoll and Paloma's pasture. Paloma's pasture is actually the first landing site, which we cleaned all up and planted with grass. Chloe's Knoll. Donald's headed for the second major pasture area called Times Square. This is Times Square. This trail we call Avenida de las Americas, Avenue of the Americas. And Donald's getting ready to go up what we call Porcupine Trail. Porcupine Trail is our most traveled trail to the ridge because it's the least steep. You can actually ski down it in the winter. The other two trails, Whitetail and Coyote, are much too steep to ski down. I love the birch trees in this section of the trail. We had to trim all these trees here for riding because the branches were poking our eyes out. Donald did that on my birthday. This is my favorite trail. It's called Rascal's Run, and it traverses the whole side of our ridge, halfway up. And it goes around the corner here and goes all the way to the top of the ridge, to the spot we call Kari's Lookout, which is where Donald is headed now. There are a lot of steep inclines on Rascal's Run to get up to the top. We just did the first one. It's a real workout for the horses to make it to the top. Looking back down the trail. We're about halfway up the ridge now. The steepest part yet awaits us. Donald's resting on a stump, saving his energy for the last great incline. There at Kari's Lookout. These mountain laurels are very beautiful in the spring, and they're all full of pink blossoms. Here at last at Kari's Lookout. Donald's doing a lot of stump sitting today. This is the view that Donald's looking at. Not many leaves on the trees, it being November. But you can see pretty far up here from Kari's Lookout. It's a stone wall and the old maples along the very top of our ridge. There's obviously a pasture at some point. We would like to clear a trail all the way along the top of the ridge, which is fairly flat, along the edge of the stone wall on our side. Donald's on our side. I'm on the neighbor's property. This is from nearly the top of the ridge, looking down, and you can even see that green patch of field out there. That's our hay field. Now we're going back down. We both have schoolwork to do today, so I'd like to spend the day just playing in the woods. Down there, that's our house, that little gray roof that's peering through the trees. I love these rocks with the mountain laurels. Now we're back, coming into Paloma's pasture from a spur trail that doesn't have a name yet. We're going to call it Baltasara's something. Okay, we've decided to call it Baltasara's Boulevard. This is looking up toward the main trail, Paloma's Parade. It goes down the hill all the way to the Brown's house. We clear a few logs out of the way. We can ski down this in the wintertime all the way down to the Browns for a cup of hot chocolate. Now I'm standing at the bottom of Baltasara's Boulevard, and I'm looking up the loop trail, which connects Paloma's pasture to Times Square. Here's the other side of Chloe's Knoll. We're panning toward Paloma's pasture, coming in from the backside or the loop trail. Donald's coming up the loop trail. This is Paloma's pasture. There's our pond from a different angle. Donald's been doing some nice clearing around the pond area. Here's an example of an area that he cleared. We call this spot Punky's Waller because it fills with mud during the wet season, and Punky likes to come down and roll in it. This is Punky's Waller Trail. The trail that leads directly to the Brown's house. We call it Zachariah's Ramble in honor of their new border collie named Zach. They walk here every day. They really appreciate it that we've opened up our woods to them so they don't have to take their puppy on the road. This whole area used to be impassable, but Jim Jocelyn, our forester who we hired with our grant from the government, we're forest stewards and are able to apply for grants, cleared this fall. And this is the end of Zachariah's Ramble. It goes out, as you can see, to the Browns' property. And we've just come up that steep trail up into the pasture. And there's our round pen we built this summer. So I can train Baltasara and her mama. These are some of the horses of White Horse Farm. There's Paloma. Probably thinks Donald's got a handout for her. So does Rask. Oh, no treats today. Paloma's a beautiful girl. Oh, she thinks I might have a treat. Oh, they all think I've got a treat. Hi, Baltasara. Hard to take your picture when you're right on top of me. Hi, Pumpkin. Stop being so macho. Hey, Rascal, don't push me around. The pretty girl. She's got her daddy's body and her mama's pretty face. Good bone, very sweet temperament. She's a little dirty right now. Rascal, it's hard to film when you're nudgling the camera with your nose. Puppy! There's the new dressage arena. They still haven't come and taken away the dirt from the edge. But it's been very useful for training the horses. Here's another angle on the dressage arena. 1 foot of gravel, 1 foot of stone dust, with a few inches of sand put on top. Large-sized dressage arena. It'll look much better in the spring when there's some grass around it and they've come and taken those piles of dirt away. And one more shot of the horse flesh of White Horse Farm. Funky's very protective of Baltasada. Doesn't want Rascal near her. Rascal, on the other hand, is pretty happy with Paloma. Baltasada is probably going to be even taller than Rascal. My guess is she'll be about 15'2", like her daddy. Big, tall, strong, well-balanced, Arabian dressage horse. Got the body for it. Let's hope she's got the temperament. It's a frosty morning, November morning, about exactly a week before Thanksgiving at White Horse Farm. This is the front garden. Donald's down in the dressage arena, dragging it. Today, Janet and I have a lesson. We like it to be really nice and flat. Good footing for our lessons. It's hard enough to ride a horse properly, but it's good to have a nice setup. And look who's here! It's the horses of White Horse Farm. There's Baltasada, wearing Rascal's old recycled roller fleece. The mice had got into it and made some holes, so Janet and I cut it down and made a blanket for Baltasada. And there's Rascal in his plaid outfit today. Rascal! Handsome? Handsome. What a good-looking horse you are. And look at your little niece. She likes you. Yeah. Puppy. Sweetheart, let's see your pretty face. Funky always thinks the grass is greener on the other side of the fence. In this case, he's really quite right, because he's got his little head over into the hayfield. We don't let him hang out there too much. And there's Paloma. She doesn't need any clothes. She's a tough broodmare. There's a view of our house on a frosty morning, and Baltasar is putting her nose in front of the camera, so I can't take a picture of it very well. What you doing, sweetheart? Let's stand back from you so we can see your face. Don't chew on my camera cord. No. Hi, Paloma. Paloma. Paloma's too busy working on the frosty grass to pay any attention to us this morning. She's got a lesson this afternoon. She is doing very well in her training. I'm proud of her. Maybe I can get Janet to film part of my lesson this afternoon. Where's Baldy and Pumpkin? I have to take pictures of horses when they keep walking up to the camera. Baldy, ooh, girl. You pretty baby. Aren't you friendly? You're like your Uncle Rascal. I'm going to take pictures of Rascal, too. He wants to be right on top of the photographer. Now, Punky's a little more independent. Unless I've got a treat, he's not particularly interested in me. How are you, Punk? Punky! There we go. Donald's just about finished the arena. We've created a drag out of an old piece of chain link fence with some boards to weight it down, and it's perfect. He does this about once a week, once every other week. We're trying to get the arena really in good shape, and during the first year, you have to drag it a lot. There are a lot of layers of gravel and stone dust and sand there, and dragging it makes it nice and flat and compact. One of these days, we're going to get these piles of dirt carted away. We're waiting to find the best bidder, so it'll all look prettier down there. One more shot of Baltasara and Punky. Baltasara is now over 13 hands and weighs about 450 pounds. But Punky still tries to push her around. He weighs about 350. He's a little fat. Part of this problem is he's got a very thick winter coat, so he actually looks fatter than he really is. Punky! Here's my beautiful Paloma. In these frosty mornings, her left eye drips a little bit. She's always had that little drippy eye. I clean it up every day, but it continues to tear up. The reason the camera is so wiggly is because Rascal is trying to get my attention here. Punky turns his butt to Rascal because he doesn't want him to take over his girlfriend. But Baltasara does like her Uncle Rascal quite a bit. They both are fairly similar horses in that they both have some of that old Crabbit Arabian blood that's very, very good quality blood from the Crabbit stud of England. Even though Baltasara is technically half Spanish, in fact, the Spaniards imported a lot of horses from the Crabbit stud in England. So those two horses have quite a bit in common. The way they move, their sociability, the way they like to groom each other so much, their friendliness, their sweetness. Paloma, who's Polish, doesn't really have those same characteristics. Not that she's not sweet. She's very well built. She's my best built horse. A beautiful front end, nice wide chest, beautiful bone, pretty face. But she's not quite as sociable as the other two Arabs on the farm, even though she's becoming quite a bit sweeter now that we've taken her baby away from her. I think she's kind of pleased not to have to nurse the baby anymore. There we go. That'd make a nice Christmas card. Hello, my pretty girl. You look so nice in royal blue. That and Kelly Green are definitely your colors. You also look pretty good in teal and peacock. Oh, we're going to have fun buying new clothes. Donald has fun on his tractor. He likes to use it for lots of things, working in the woods, dragging the arena, spreading horse manure, playing in the manure pile. There's Cariñosa. Hi, honey. Hard to keep up with Cariñosa. She's a fast dog. Hi, sweetheart. Well, I can hear her, but I can't catch up with her. There she is. Gaddy. Cariñosa, you smell a rabbit. We have a lot of rabbits this year, especially in the front yard. They come out at night. They're working on the grass. Gaddy likes to chase them. And there's the hayfield, all covered with frost. Gray day today. Well, it's a pretty November day in its own way. Not much left in my winter vegetable garden. Pulled a few carrots the other day, and there's some Brussels sprouts, I think, that haven't completely frozen. And I plan to harvest, finally, my Jerusalem artichokes, or sunchokes as they're called.
Now make a half circle again over 50 first. Follow like that. And now bend those back.
Hey. Oh.
Now, for a variation on the Conway and bending.
Okay.
And that's that. One thing. That's right, that's how we get right on your good dad. Good foot. Have more trouble bending than the longer one. Which makes sense. That's excellent, BB. You feel it? Yeah. Now we don't want that. As if you were on a phone.
Okay.
That paper. There! That's the phone. And feel the lightning. More. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Yeah. Good girl. Yeah. That's normal. Not used to accepting this.
always fight more in this direction, I'll tell you that.
Well, yay! Well done.
Well done, well done.
Oh, you did that. The timing with that was good. What? Yeah, and now make a half circle, get the left,
Steady.
like we're over. There you go. That's right, you did. See?
Come on, girl.
Good. Oh,
Girl, come on.
yeah. Good girl.
Good girl, come on.
And get what? That's all right.
All right, come on, that's it.
But I also think it's not that hard.
Yeah.
I mean, she's got sort of a big.
Sammy.
Yep. Yeah.
That's a little, yeah.
That's fine. But then feel left. Open the left brain and bring the nose left. As if you were starting a left circle. There's your elbow. Right so far. There. You can tell when she starts because she gets longer in her step. Push. Yeah. Yeah.
Cindy.
Yeah. Like that. Good
Girl,
baby.
Paloma. Come on, honey.
And now take her a little bit right. Just wait. She gets correct. She feels she can't. Yeah, that's fine. But don't just let her hold on. Yep. Then just have open. Yeah.
Good girl, Paloma. Ow.